Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Grow Through It podcast. My name is Julia and today we are doing a mid-year check-in. It is officially over halfway through the year, so I thought it would be a great time to check in with our goals and see how we are doing. I'll be going through my own goals and telling you what I've achieved so far and what I still have to achieve, as well as asking you questions to see if you are on track. So if you have a bingo card or if you've journaled your goals or you have your goals written somewhere, grab them so you can review your goals throughout this episode. Checking in with yourself halfway through the year is really important because it will help you to achieve more of your goals and see if you are actually on track. There's nothing worse than setting goals in January and then not checking in again until the end of the year and realizing that you fell short. So even if you think you've been crushing your goals, I want you to actually take a look at what you wrote down and go through it today. And if you haven't done any goal setting for the year, I want you to do it now. You can listen to the goal setting episode I did at the beginning of the year. And then you can do a mid check-in halfway through now and December. So the first thing we're going to go through is what have you accomplished so far from your goals? So I'm sitting here with my bingo card in front of me. There are definitely some things that I have achieved and some things that I don't know if I will achieve this year, but that's okay. Some things came up that were unexpected. But I'm going to go through what I have accomplished so far from my own goals. So number one, I finished 75 hard. That was a goal of mine this year that I'm really proud of achieving again. I love doing 75 hard. If you listened to any of the other episodes I did, you will know that, but I'm really proud of that one. The next one is try a new experience. So I tried a couple different things this year. One of the things I did was try a Rumble boxing class. So that is like a kind of like nightclub vibes, but it's a boxing class. So they have really loud music. They have different lights going. It's just such a fun vibe. So that was something I experienced that was new this year. Another new thing I tried was golf. So I haven't actually gone golfing yet, but I will be next weekend. So that will be another new thing. But I went to Launchpad, which is an interactive driving range. It has like different games you can play, and it was actually really fun. I never thought I would like golf, but I genuinely really liked it. The next goal I reached on my bingo card was getting a facial. Now, this was actually a horrible experience. I just got my facial yesterday, and it was brutal. Like, I will spare you most of the details, but it was in a lady's apartment. She was very unprofessional. It was dirty. She was not very nice. She was just basically saying that my skin wasn't very good and that my eyebrows were really bad and she could redo them way better. And they looked like they were 10 years old instead of 1 year old. And yeah, it was just a terrible experience. So I do plan on getting another facial at an actual spa, and hopefully that one's better because the facial I got last year in Toronto when I went for a trip was so good. So I was hoping for that again, but clearly that didn't happen. Either way, I accomplished that goal. I really wanted to pamper myself a little bit more this year, so that was one of the things. Another goal I reached was run 5 kilometers, no stopping. I did that multiple times this year, which I'm really proud of because I never thought that I would be able to do that. I always did interval running, but I realized running 5 kilometers actually isn't that hard. So that is another thing. I also did 30 days of meditation. So I did a whole month of meditating. I did between like 2 and 5 minute meditations. I think some of the meditations were a little bit longer than that as well, but that is another thing. And then there are a couple goals that I'm still working on that will take probably the whole year. So going to yoga once per month, I've done that 6 times so far. So I just need to go in July, which I should be this weekend. Read 12 personal development books. I'm at 6, so I am on track with that. I try to read one a month. Read 5 fiction books. I've only read one so far, but I will be finished the second one today. I am very close to being done. I just have a couple more pages left. And I'm really into fiction right now, so I'm confident I will do the last 3 before the end of the year, especially now that it's summer. I feel like summer is the time I want to read more fiction. So I am a little behind on that, but I'm confident I will get it done. And then 3 sound bowl sessions. I've done 1 so far, but there will be another one this weekend. I'm going to the Women's Festival this weekend, which I'm very excited about. So that will be another sound bowl session done. So those are the things I've accomplished or I am working towards. So I want you to get out your journal or your bingo card, whatever you did, and take a look at all of the things that you accomplished. And you might have to look back at your calendar or in your photos to see what you accomplished because you might not remember. This is why I, on the bingo card, cross things off as I accomplish them because otherwise I'm not going to remember. Even for the ones that I have to do like per month or reading 12 personal development books, I tally it on my bingo card so that I remember. But some of the things like try a new experience, I had to look back in my calendar and in my camera roll and remember the things I did. But I wanted to start with the things you accomplished because I think it's really important to be proud of yourself for all of the things you've done, even if there's a lot you haven't done yet, but you're still getting closer to finishing your goals, and doing some things is better than doing nothing. So celebrate yourself for achieving those goals. Take a look at what you've accomplished, and I would also love to hear what you did. So you can message me privately on Instagram, or you can post it on your story to do a mid-year check-in and tag me. I would really love to see all of the things that you guys have done so far this year. The next thing I want to go over is what have you accomplished that is not on your goals? So something that you didn't put on your bingo card or your goals that you actually ended up accomplishing and you didn't even think that that was something you were going to do. So what have you accomplished that has not been on your goals? One thing I did was I lost weight, and it was through 75 Hard, but it wasn't necessarily one of my goals that I wrote down. But I did lose weight, and I'm at a place where I am pretty happy with how I am. There's still some things I want to change, but I'm pretty happy with the progress I've made. I also posted on TikTok 75 days straight, which I never thought I would do, but I posted every single day of 75 Hard, and that was really fun for me. I got to edit the videos and kind of reflect on how my day went, and it's really cool to look back on as well. So I posted for 75 days straight, which I've never done before. I was very consistent with my social media. And I've also spent more time with friends this year, which I have really enjoyed. I've made some really great friends over the last couple of years, and I've just been kind of prioritizing that a little bit more and meeting new people. So that has been really fun. The next thing I want to talk about is what do you still need to accomplish? For me, there's a lot on my bingo card that is not crossed off. I don't know if I'll get everything done. There's certain things that I don't think are possible anymore, but you never know. So I'll just share a couple of them. The first one is 3 challenging hikes. I actually have done 1 so far, so that's great. However, I hurt my knee really bad on that hike, so I don't know what my hiking season is going to look like the rest of the year, which is really, really disappointing. Makes me a little emotional because I was really looking forward to hiking again, and we have a backcountry camping trip coming up, and it's a lot of hiking, and I don't know what that's going to look like for me. So I'm really hoping I can still achieve this goal. I just don't know if it's a possibility with how bad my knee is. The next one is pay off all debt. This summer is extremely expensive. We have 3 weddings, 2 out of province. We have so many other events going on, and it's just a lot. I don't know if this is a full possibility because I still need to pay off my car, and I did pay off my credit card, but not my car. And I don't know if actually I paid off my student loans too. So it's just my car. However, the beginning of the year seemed more promising on paying it off. Seems a little less likely now, but again, you never know. I'm always manifesting more money, so still hopeful on that one. And I'm trying to stay positive about it, but I'm also not going to beat myself up if I don't achieve it because I know things came up that I wasn't fully expecting. Another one is attend a class. I do think I can do this. It's pretty easy to do. I just have to go. And I want it to be not a fitness class because I do those all the time, but something like artsy or music or dance, something like that. So my goal is to do a pottery class or like a painting class of some sort. So I still have to do that one, and I should be able to do that no problem. One of the other ones I have is 5 pull-ups. I am at 2 right now, which is pretty good. So hopefully by the end of the year, I can do 5. I'm pretty confident I can get there because 2 years ago when I did 5 pull-ups, it only took a couple months actually. So I just have to maybe be a bit more consistent with my upper body days. I did have a couple flare-ups with my back. I hurt my arm at work a couple months ago. So there has been a couple things holding me back, but for the most part, there really shouldn't be any excuse. So I will do the 5 pull-ups. Another one I still have to do is going on a solo date. This one, again, is pretty easy to do. I don't want to do a solo date that is easy for me, though. I want it to be a little bit more challenging. I've done lots of solo dates in the past, but I want this one to be either going out for a meal by myself or going to a movie by myself because those 2 things scare me. And I want to do something that is a little more intimidating to me. So I still need to do that one, but I'll probably do that either this summer or in the fall. I think maybe going to like a fall movie would be nice. There's lots of other ones that I'm not going to cover because we would be here all day. But I want you to go over what you still need to accomplish. And I don't want you to beat yourself up if you haven't done a lot of your goals. That is okay. That's why we're doing the mid-year check-in, to see where you're at. And I want you to actually make a plan to achieve those goals. So we will get into that a little bit later on. And you can write these down separately so that we can make a plan later. The next question I want to ask you is there anything that's come up that you'd like to add to your goals? So is there anything that's come up this year that you want to achieve that you didn't think of at the beginning of the year? It could be something to do with work. It could be financially. It could be a fitness goal. So think of if there's anything that you want to add. And if there's not, that's totally okay, especially if you have a lot of other goals you still want to accomplish. But it's always good to just do a check-in and see if your goals have shifted at all. And that leads me to my next question, which is, do any of your goals no longer align? And this doesn't mean that you just don't think you can achieve it, so you're going to cross it off. That's not what I mean. I mean, is there anything you wrote down that you're just not super passionate about anymore? For me, all of mine still apply. I still want to try to achieve all my goals. But I remember last year there were a couple goals on my bingo card that throughout the year I was thinking about it and I was like, this isn't really that important to me. So I didn't really worry about those goals. If you have a lot of goals you still haven't done, I think it's good to prioritize which ones are more important to you and work on that instead of the ones that you don't really care about that much. And again, I want you to ask yourself if they truly don't align or if you're just being fearful because these goals scare you. And a way you can do this is if you achieved that goal, how would you feel? Would you feel really proud of yourself or would you not really care? So let's go over what you're going to do to ensure that you hit these goals that you want to achieve by the end of the year. So I hope you wrote them down like I asked you to, but I want you to make an actual plan for these goals. It could be putting it into your calendar. So for me, I still need to do my solo date. So I am going to put in my calendar, I'm going to pick a date that I'm not busy on, and I'm going to book my solo date. I'm going to put it in my calendar so that it's an appointment and I'm not going to miss it. You can also block off time each day if it's something that you need to do daily. You can put a reminder in your phone. You can schedule your phone on work mode for those times that you need to do that thing. So for example, I could block off 20 minutes a day for reading, and that would help me achieve my reading goal. And the last thing I want you to do is make a change today. Don't just listen to this episode and think about the things you're going to do. I want you to actually apply one thing today, whether that is putting it in your calendar or blocking off time, or maybe it's just going out and doing one of these things. For example, if you have the goal of trying a yoga class, sign up for one today and just take that action because it's going to make you feel so confident and it's going to cause a ripple effect, making you want to achieve even more of your goals. And the last question I want to ask you is, what is one thing you've learned in these last 6 months? One of the biggest things I learned is that life is short and it's really important not to dwell on the small things because there are so many bigger things going on in the world than these small inconveniences that we tend to worry about. And that has truly changed my whole perspective on things. It's helped me to become less stressed, less anxious. I worry less, I overthink less because I'm not worried about those little tiny things. I'm looking at the actual big picture. So that is one major thing I learned this year. And I would love to hear what your biggest lesson was this year so far. Again, you can DM me on Instagram or you can share it on your story. I would really love to hear it. So that is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you actually took the time to reflect. If you didn't have time to reflect while listening to this, I want you to re-listen when you have time to sit down with your goals and really go through and see what you still need to do and take action and apply those steps. Because again, you don't want to make it to December and realize that you haven't done any of your goals or you've only done a couple of them. So this is a great way to make sure you've achieved at least some of the goals you set. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. You can DM me at growthroughit.pod, or you can use the link in the show notes to anonymously ask questions or suggest future topic ideas. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would be so grateful if you left a rating or review and followed or subscribed and share it with someone you think would benefit from it. Thank you guys so much for listening and remember that you are worthy. See you next time.